Supposed to be learning, we should have the basic English for Shalema. Everyone that needs. And also for Yechil Masim and Sarah. Moshe, you doing any better this morning? How are you feeling?
I'm getting there slowly.
Okay. Yeah. For Shalema. Doing your rabbits.
Thanks.
Okay, we're going to start Beis on the bottom. Beis on the bottom by Rabbi Yosef Amar, Gezem Mishum Personation. Okay, here's what's going on. An egg that's laid on Yom Tov. So it's a machlekes Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. Beis Shammai is lenient. There's no problem. Beis Hillel has a problem with it. He says, Leiseichel. Question is why? What's the problem? So that problem is based on what type of chicken, what type of hen had just laid this egg. If it's a tarnagolis that's a medes legadol bayim, then there's an issue of muktzah. A medes legadol bayim means that, you see, on Yom Tov you could have shechted the mother. So if it's a medes legadol bayim, it was not designated for food. It was a hen that was there for eggs, an egg raiser or something. So then it was muktzah when Yom Tov came in, and it remains muktzah. And the egg has the same issue. And that was Rav Nachman's issue. Rav Nachman spoke to us about muktzah. Muktzah and noilad, which is even more strict than muktzah. It didn't exist when Yom Tov came in. It's even worse. The only problem with that, the Gemara asked, with Rav Nachman's pshat, is then why are you talking about the egg? Talk about the mother. Talk about the hen. The exact same issue would apply. So comes along Rabbah, he has another pshat. He says, we're talking about a tarnagailis that's a medes la'achila. It's a chicken that you were going to chef. It wasn't for raising eggs. Okay, so then there's no problem of muktzah. So here we have a unique issue. Our issue is hachana. We're talking about that it's Yom Tov that's after Shabbos. Yeah. Yom Tov that's after Shabbos. That's the origin of our problem. Now, the rule is that weekday is supposed to prepare for Yom Tov, not Shabbos preparing for Yom Tov. And since an egg, the day before it's laid, is completed inside, therefore Shabbos prepared the egg, and therefore on Yom Tov you're not allowed to have it. It becomes usher because it wasn't prepared in the right time. So Abai asked Shabbos, but that's only like one Shabbos, one Yom Tov that comes after Shabbos. You're talking about every Yom Tov. They said it's a gzeira of Yom Tov that comes after Shabbos. Okay. So we have two explanations here for our Mishnah, and it really divides what type of chicken we're dealing with. But it's either Rav Nachman's explanation that it's an issue of muktzah, has to do with the chicken was not designated for food anyway, or it's the issue of Rabbah, of Hachana, Rabbah's issue, that it wasn't prepared properly for Yom Tov. It was prepared from Shabbos to Yom Tov. Shabbos prepared it for Yom Tov.
And according to your opinion, it's extended to all Yom Tov.
Yeah. And it continues, Gezeira Mishum Yom Tov Achar Shabbos. What about Shabbos? So, Gezeira Mishum Shabbos Achar Yom Tov. You make it Gezeira. Yeah, you make it Gezeira. Okay. Rabbi Yosef, that's what we're holding, the second to the bottom line. Rabbi Yosef Amar Gezeira Mishum Peres HaNashim. He has another issue. Really, we're not dealing with the muktzah issue of a chicken that wasn't designated for food and all of that. We're dealing with the chicken that could have been eaten. It was there we were going to shecht it. So then if you can shecht the mother, why can't you eat the egg? What's the problem? That was sort of our question on Rabbah. You can shecht the mother, why can't you eat the egg? Well, he said the egg gets prepared and then it gets laid. That's a hachana issue. Rabbi Yosef says there's another issue. If a fruit falls off the tree on Shabbos or Yom Tov, you're not allowed to eat it. Why? Because if we allow you to eat it, you may go and pick a few more. It's called Peres HaNoshim, fruits that have fallen off the tree. So we say like this, just like fruits that fall off the tree, you're not allowed to eat those fruits if they fall off the tree on Shabbos or Yom Tov. So too an egg that falls out of the chicken that gets laid on Yom Tov, you're not allowed to eat it. I don't know what you're going to do. You can't like take another one, but it's similar to the problem of, it's like a Zera, as we'll see, that it's very similar to the Peres HaNoshim. Amalei Abaya, chicken tree. Amalei Abaya, Peres HaNoshim, time of my, 1 second, Abaya says. Abaya was a student of Rabbi, he's also a student of Rabbi Yosef. What's the issue with Peres HaNoshim, with the original problem here, fruits that fall off a tree? It says that's a problem, on top of Gimel. Maybe you're going to climb up the tree and take an extra few fruits. Yeah, that's an issue. If we let you start eating, you may take some more. So that's a gzeira. That's a gzeira. To eat the fruits themselves is no problem that have fallen off. There's a concern that you may take more. So therefore, we tell you can't eat these fruits. Peres HaNoshim is a gzeira. Where's this egg coming in? That's similar to Peres HaNoshim. If we let you eat the egg, maybe you're going to take the fruits. You take the fruits, maybe you'll take the ones that are still attached. So it says, he gufa gzeira. What are you making decrees on decrees? You don't make a decree on top of another decree. Gemara answers, Kulachad gzeiri. An interesting answer. When the sages made a decree about fruits that fell off a tree, that you can't take them, they included in that original gzeira eggs. It's not that eggs could lead you to fruits. They said anything that goes into that category, they just forbade. Okay, that resolves the gzeira issue. Still, this question is like, how close is that to the original issue? But that was the gzeira. Rabbi Yitzchak says, gzeira mishum mashkin shezavu. It's a similar issue, but slightly different. If you have fruits that you put them in a bowl and liquid starts to ooze out of it on Shabbos or Yom Tov, you're not allowed to drink that liquid. Why? Because you may end up going and squeezing the rest of the fruits. Yeah, it's mashkin shezavu, the liquid that oozed out of the fruits. So what we're saying here is that, look, this egg oozed out of that chicken on Yom Tov, just like the liquid that comes out of fruits on Yom Tov is aser. So to the egg that comes out of the chicken is aser. It's similar to the Peres HaNoshim fell off. It's a similar sort of like a rabbinic problem that's a decree, because maybe you'll end up doing something worse. You may, right? Yeah. Yeah. Yes, you're not supposed to take it in a cup and drink it. Amalei Abaya. Abaya says, Mashkin shezavu time Amaya has the same question. Yeah. I'm not familiar with Abaya being a student of Rabbi Yitzchak, but it's fine. I mean, I don't really know where Rabbi Yitzchak comes in. So, Mashkin shezavu time Amaya. What's the issue of Mashkin shezavu? It's a gezeira shema yischit. It's a decree that maybe you'll go squeeze the original fruits, the actual fruits, which that's a problem. Chita, squeezing the fruits, is a told of dash. Dash is threshing. Threshing is taking the grain out of the husk. And squeezing the juices out of the fruits is similar to that. So he gufa gzeira. But that juice itself was just a gzeira. Now you're going to say that the egg is similar to the juice, which is similar to which is the fruit, which you may end up, this is way too far. You can't make a gzeira on a gzeira like that. The Gemara gives us the answer that it gave before. Kulacha the gzeira. Yeah, got to get used to that answer. It's all one gzeira. When Chazal made the gzeira, that not to drink the juice, fruits that come out, that ooze out on Shabbos, together with that was in the original gzeira was not to eat an egg that's laid on Shabbos or Yom Tov. Okay. Now the Gemara discusses, it does a comparison in all the answers. And it says, why is Rav Nachman on his own in this? Why doesn't everyone agree with him? Why is Rab on his own? Why is Rabbi Yosef on his own? Why is Rabbi Yitzchak on his own? Because why doesn't anyone agree with each other? Isn't each one of these a great answer? The Gemara doesn't always do this, but sometimes it does. In Sukkah, it does this also. It says, everyone, if you have like a bunch of different opinions of what the issue is, you can then compare them and say, how come no one holds of the other issue? It goes like this. Kuluk Rav Nachman Layamri. No one says like Rav Nachman. Who's the no one? Or all of them. All of them don't say. That's Rabbah and Rabbi Yosef and Rabbi Yitzchak. Why not? Tikushin, because we had a question on Rav Nachman. What was the question on Rav Nachman? Nachman said that we're dealing with the chicken that's designated to lay eggs and it's muktzah. When Yom Tov came in, you weren't supposed to eat it. So we said, if that's the case, why are you arguing about the eggs? Argue about the chicken. So you wanted to tell me the Chiddush of Beishamai, that even the egg is lenient even with the egg, it's noilad and all of that. So well, you can still argue about both and it would have been the same story. The egg and the chicken. So we had a kasha on Rav Nachman on the choice of the examples of the Mishnah. So they didn't accept Rav Nachman's opinion. Karabba Nami Layamri, he didn't say like Rabba. Achana Leslu. That was a very unique issue that Rabba came up with. That anything that's naturally completed on Shabbos is going to be Asr on Yom Tov, right following Shabbos. I understand I'm not allowed to prepare, but to tell me that it's Asr when it's naturally completed, that's a Chiddush. Maybe they don't hold to that Chiddush. That's an easy reason why they didn't accept it. Ela Rabbi Yosef, my time Rabbi Yitzchak. Why doesn't Rabbi Yosef say like Rabbi Yitzchak? Rabbi Yosef was what we learned today. Peres HaNoshim, similar to fruits that fell off the tree. You're not allowed to take those fruits on Yom Tov. And also the egg, you're not allowed to take. But Rabbi Yitzchak, he said that it's like the juice that came out. So that's very similar. Why doesn't he accept Rabbi Yitzchak's pshat? Amalach, he says like this. Beitza uchla. The egg is food. Uperes uchla. And fruits are food. Lafuki mashkin de lav uchla. But the liquid that comes out is not a food. So mashkin shezavu. In other words, Rabbi Yosef is saying, liquid that comes out of the fruits is not an egg that comes out of a chicken. An egg is food, and mashkin, liquid, is liquid. He didn't like the comparison. Now we go the other way. Rabbi Yitzchak, my time, Rabbi Yosef. Why doesn't Rabbi Yitzchak that say that it has to do with fruits? Not fruits, juice that oozes out of fruits. Why doesn't he say that it's fruits that fell off the tree? Amalach, he would say to you, Rabbi Yitzchak would say, Beya Belua. The egg is absorbed inside the chicken. Umashkin Belua. And the liquid, the juices, are absorbed inside the fruits. Lafuki Peres de Megalavakaima. But fruits that fall off the tree were exposed. So fruits that fall off the tree on Yom Tov, they're out there in the open. They were in the open, they fell off. This egg was inside, no one saw it. Similar to the juice that's inside the fruits, that no one sees it, and it oozes out, and the egg comes out. That's a better comparison than fruits that fell off a tree on Yom Tov. Okay. So what we did was we explained why no one holds of each other. And that's how we have a four-way machlekes. What's the pshat in our Mishnah? Be'esh and all the biyamtiv. Pshat in Beis Hillel that forbids it. Okay. Now the Gemara says, "After Rabbi Yechanan savar gzeira mishamashkin shesavu." Rabbi Yechanan holds of Rabbi Yitzchak's pshat. He believes that our Mishnah, the issue is that it's liquid that oozed out of the fruits. How do you get that? Rabbi Yechanan didn't say this clearly. This goes like this. Rabbi Yechanan Rami. Rabbi Yechanan, he posed a contradiction. Sorry? Oh, okay. Okay. The Rabbi Yechanan Rami, the Rabbi Yehuda Mishani. He poses a contradiction of two statements of Rabbi Yehuda, and then he resolves them. Now, based on that contradiction and the way that he resolves it, that's going to tell me that Be'esh and all the biyamtiv is an issue of juice that oozes out of fruits on Yom Tov. Tanan, let's go through what happened over here. We start in the Mishnah. You're not allowed to squeeze fruits on Shabbos or Yom Tov, but if it comes out on its own, you're not allowed to squeeze them. And if it comes out on its own, it's also okay. That's the Tanakama. Why is it usher? Like we said, because you may end up squeezing it. If you can drink that juice, you're going to try to get a little bit more, right? And you'll squeeze the actual fruit. Rabbi Yehuda says, Imla Eichlin, if those fruits were gathered for eating, then you didn't want the juice to ooze out. You wanted nice fruits. You didn't want mush. You wanted to eat the fruits. The imla mashkin, but if those fruits were gathered to squeeze, then then what comes out is us. In other words, it depends on why you collected those fruits. If the fruits are there for eating, if they're table grapes, so then it's mutter to drink the juice because he didn't want the juice. But if it's grapes that you had there for squeezing, for wine, then what comes out is us. Okay. Alma, what are we seeing from Rabbi Yehuda's opinion? See, Rabbi Yehuda is more lenient about this. He says it depends why it was collected. Alma, kol oichlin Rabbi Yehuda uchla da'afrasu. What is Rabbi Yehuda's opinion? He holds that fruits that are there for eating, the juice that comes out is considered food, not mashkin. In the fruits you're allowed to eat, the juice that comes out is food. It's not liquid. It's not like something else. It's also food. Okay, so far so good. But the idea here is that Rabbi Yehuda does not have a gezerah of mashkin shazavu liquid that comes out of table grapes. Right? His gezerah, mashkin shazavu liquid that comes out is very limited to fruits that are there for liquid. Okay. Raminu, there's a problem. Here's the contradiction that Rabbi Yechanan posed. Vaidam Rabbi Yehuda also said, this is talking about the person wanted to make an eruv to be able to walk in this direction on Yom Tov. Problem is, Yom Tov was 2 days, it was Rosh Hashanah. He wanted to go on the first day this way, and he wanted to go on the second day that way. So it says over there that it's considered Yom HaRichta. Really 1 day. You can't divide up Rosh Hashanah like that into separate eruvim. So then it goes like this. It says, Masna Adam al Kalkala shall Paris b'yem Tavrishan v'Eichla b'Sheni. Let's say there were fruits that the tithe wasn't taken. And now you want to eat it. Now you're not allowed to take the tithe. You're not allowed to separate, to fix the fruits on Yom Tov. You're not allowed to fix it on Yom Tov by taking the time. Let's say it's a 2-day Yom Tov. Now, 2-day Yom Tov means that we weren't sure which day is the real day of Yom Tov. So what you can do is like this. On the first day of Yom Tov, you say that if today is Yom Tov, then I'm doing nothing. But if today is not Yom Tov and tomorrow is Yom Tov, then right now I'm fixing the fruits, and this part of the fruits is meiser, and this is fixed. And okay, no, don't eat it yet. The following day, you say, if today is Yom Tov, that means yesterday was not, and it was already fixed. But if today is not Yom Tov, then I'm going to fix it right now, and this is the meiser, and the rest of the fruits I can eat. Now, automatically, no, it was tikkun mana. It was you're like fixing something. So automatically, though, because Yom Tov can only be really one day, so one of them had to have work. So it says, Masna, Rabbi Yehuda says a person can do this, and he eats it on the second day. He can eat the fruits on the second day. He has his fruits fixed. Oh, then he throws in what we were looking for. What about an egg that was laid on the first day? It says you can automatically eat it on the second day. Why? If the first day was Yom Tov, so what? The second day is not Yom Tov. If the second day is Yom Tov, then it's not a Be'er to be Yom Tov. It's a Be'er on the weekday. Right? So the second day is for sure no problem. Not for Shabbos. Shabbos throws us off, yeah. Because it could have been Shabbos one day and then Yom Tov the wrong day. Right? It could be a problem. Okay. But whatever the case is, we see the Sheni in Berishon Lai. You see what's going on? You can only eat it on the second day, not on the first day. Why? It's a Be'er Shenol B'Yom Tov. Now, what's the problem with Be'er Shenol B'Yom Tov? I have four possibilities. It could be that it's muktzah because the mother wasn't. It could be that it wasn't prepared. Chana, Rabbah. It could be that it's because of fruits that fell off a tree. It could be because of liquid that came out of a. Now, Rabbi Yochanan comes along and says, "Who's saying this?" Rabbi Yehuda, and he's saying that Be'er Shenol B'Yom Tov is a problem. But I'm sorry, Be'er, an egg that was laid on Yom Tov. Be'er, Beitza. So, but we had a Mishnah before that Rabbi Yehuda said that fruits that the juice came out is not a problem if those fruits were designated for eating. So Rabbi Yochanan takes this Mishnah now that says an egg that's laid on Yom Tov contradicts Rabbi Yehuda's view before. He says that the juice that comes out of the fruits is not a problem, but then he says that the egg that's laid on Yom Tov is a problem. It's a contradiction. Obviously, Rabbi Yochanan is seeing the egg that's laid on Yom Tov as an issue of juices that's coming out of the fruit. That's why he sees this as a contradiction. Umashani Rabbi Yochanan, Machlefes Hashita. Rabbi Yochanan says, you know what? This is such a big problem that the first Mishnah that we had that said you're not allowed to squeeze fruits on Yom Tov, and if liquid comes out, you can't drink it. That must be Rabbi Yehuda's opinion. We have to switch it around. We said there was a Tanakama that held that, and Rabbi Yehuda held differently. But because of this contradiction, you have to say Rabbi Yehuda is the first opinion, and the Tanakama is the second opinion. See what's going on. The fact that this is even a contradiction must be that Rabbi Yochanan holds that the issue of an egg that's laid on Yom Tov is because of juices that come out of a fruit. Okay. Ravina says that I hear the problem, but you don't have to switch the names of that brisa about the juices that come out of the fruit and say that Rabbi Yehuda is the one that forbids it. But Rabbi Yehuda l'devrayim kamar, l'devrayim derabanan kamar. Rabbi Yehuda was really just commenting to the rabbis. He says, Kamalo, Lididi, he says, according to me, Afila Brisha Nami Sharia. I really hold that there's no problem at all. Because it's food that's separated from other food. According to you, we're not talking about the first price now, we'd be talking about the second price, the second Mishnah, about the egg that's laid on Yom Tov. He says, I hold that there's no problem and you can actually eat it on the first day. But you agree to me, the B'Sheni Sharia, the Shtei Kedusha saying, you see, there was an argument over there about how to look at 2 days of Yom Tov, 2 days of Rosh Hashanah. So if you look at it as 1 day or 2 days, Rabbi Yehuda is saying, I hold that there's no problem with eggs anyway. But even according to you, that say that it's 2 days, that there is a problem with eggs, but at least admit to me that the second day shouldn't be a problem because automatically it has to be acceptable. Whether if the first day was really Yom Tov, the second day was really Yom Tov, on the second day you should be allowed to eat it. I hold, Rabbi Yehuda holds that you can really eat it on the first day. Now, according to this, Rabbi Yehuda wasn't saying his real opinion, and therefore Ravina is saying you don't have to switch the what's it called around.
Isn't it interesting that nobody's saying that maybe Rabbi Yehuda holds by one of these other problems with Beitza?
Yeah. It's interesting because
I also find it interesting, Daniel.
Because Rabbi Yochanan was the one that posed the problem. So Rabbi Yochanan made this as a question. So obviously he holds that this is an issue. Yeah. Ravina, one second, let's just finish those words. But according to you, agreed to me, the B'Sheni Sharia, that the second day should be permissible to stay Kedusha saying. And the rabbis respond, like Kedusha Achasi. They say it's one Kedusha. And if it's late on the first day, you can't eat it on the second day. It's all one holiness. Okay. That Rosh Hashanah is different. Ravina Breder Avula Amar Hacha B'Tana Golas Medes L'Gadol Bayim. He says that there's really no contradiction here. He says here we're dealing with a Tanagolas Medes L'Gadol Bayim, talking about a chicken that's not designated for food, but a chicken that's designated, a hen that's to lay eggs. And for Rabbi Yehuda L'Tamei, this Muktzah. And it's Rabbi Yehuda Shita. Rabbi Yehuda holds that there's a concept of muktzah. Yesterday we went through, there's a machlekes Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon regarding muktzah. Rabbi Yehuda is very strict about muktzah. Rabbi Shimon is very lenient about muktzah. Muktzah means if it's not designated for use when Shabbos comes in. So Rabbi Yehuda holds that it needs to be designated when Shabbos comes in. Well, this chicken was not designated when Yom Tov came in. This was designated out. This was designated to lay eggs. And so therefore, why would Rabbi Yehuda say that there's an issue here on the first day is because of muktzah. Because that's Rabbi Yehuda's opinion about muktzah. Okay. What's he doing? He's basically saying what you were offering is that you have other opinions. It doesn't have to be a contradiction. Right. Okay. See, those other opinions were all in pshat in our Mishnah. So even if we don't accept Rav Nachman's pshat in our Mishnah, Rabbi's pshat in our Mishnah, but in the Mishnah that Rabbi Yehuda quoted, or the Mishnah that Rabbi Yehuda's in, for that we can say that Rabbi Yehuda has his own shita. It's not the opinion of Beis Shammai or Beis Hillel. Yeah, our Mishnah, we had to explain that that's what Beis Hillel holds. Yeah, over here we just have to say this is Rabbi Yehuda's original opinion. We know Rabbi Yehuda's original opinion, that he holds of muktzah. The machlekes was, does Beis Hillel hold of Rabbi Yehuda and Beis Shammai holds of Reb Shimon? That was the discussion. Yeah, there's an arm Mishnah Machlekes Bisham Bisham. Okay, now Meisvei. We have a question. This goes back on everyone. Says Echad Be'er Shenolda B'Shabbos. Whether the egg was laid on Shabbos, V'echad Be'er Shenolda B'Yom Tov. Whether it was laid on Yom Tov. Ein metaltal naisa. It's muktzah. It's not just a problem of eating. You can't move it. Leila chasis ba esakeli. You can't use it if you have a jug that has like a mouth, and the egg would fit perfectly into the opening to like seal it off. Put the egg in. Yeah, they used to do this thing with the hard-boiled egg. That they would like vacuum pack it. They would put like a match or something inside, and the egg would get sucked into it. It was like a science thing, and without the shell. And then they say, try to get this out. Whatever the case is, you can't eat this egg is muktzah. You can't use it to cover a bottle. So, you can't use it to hold up a bed either. You would put it on the sharp edges, right? And they would use it to an egg to hold up because it was an egg. The way it's shaped was very strong. As much as you push it, it doesn't. If you put it in the right position, if it twists, then you're done. But if it's in the right position, then it could hold up a bed. But here it's muktzah, you can't. But you are allowed to use another utensil to cover it. That's not so clear. Are you allowed to use one utensil to cover something that's muktzah? Here it says yes. So it shouldn't break. Then it goes on, and here's where we get into trouble. It says usveika asura, and if it's a doubt, it's forbidden. Now the doubt, what we're thinking of here, it's a doubt if it was laid on Yom Tov or not. You go into the chicken coop, you see the egg there. Say, oh, was it today or was it yesterday? Or maybe it's a doubt if it's Shveika D'Yoma, if it's which day is really Yom Tov. Whatever the case is, a doubt is usher. It's going to be a problem for us because why should a doubt be usher if this is a rabbinic decree? If it's a biblical issue, then we understand why the doubt is a problem. Okay, let's see. Let's say this egg gets mixed up into 1,000 other eggs. So kula nasuris, all the eggs are forbidden. Okay. Bishleim ala Rabba, we go back and we analyze what's going on over here. According to Rabba, he said we had an issue of hachana. The egg wasn't prepared for Yom Tov properly. It was prepared, Shabbos prepared it for Yom Tov. The Amar Mishra Machana, he says the issue is preparation. Avisveka daraisa. He quoted a pasuk by Mashishi ve'echinu. V'chol sveka daraisa l'chumra. So it's a biblical issue. If there's a doubt, you have to be strict. El Rabbi Yosef or Rabbi Yitzchak dan mishum gzeira. But according to Rabbi Yosef and according to Rabbi Yitzchak, let's say that it's just a rabbinic decree. Why? What's the decree? Either it's like a fruit that fell off a tree that you're not allowed to eat it because you may pick more, or it's like liquid that came out of fruits, which you're not allowed to drink because you may squeeze it more. But whatever the case is, that's only a rabbinic decree. So why, if there's a doubt, should you have to be strict here? The rabbis only made their decrees on definite issues. They didn't make decrees on doubts. Right? I'm explaining it because every rabbinic decree is really a biblical law. The Torah tells us that we have to follow the rabbis, right? So why do we say Sveka Derabanan Lakula? The answer is because the rabbis only made their decrees on definite cases, right? But anything that's a doubt, the rabbis never made the decree on that. So we have a kasha on Rabbi Yosef and Rabbi Yitzchak. Now we left out Rabbi Nachman. We didn't talk about the muktzah issue. On the side, there's a Tosfos Yeshanim that says we're not asking on Rav Nachman because muktzah is similar to a deraisa, and there's no question why we would be strict about muktzah. Okay. The Gemara answers Seifa Asam Lasapik Treifa. Well, what we do here is we retranslate what just took place in this Mishnah or a Brisa. It says a egg that was laid on Shabbos or Yom Tov, it's muktzah. You can't use it for this, you can't use it for that, but you can cover it with a vessel. Then we said that if there's a doubt, it's forbidden. We're not talking about a doubt of the first egg that we were talking about. It's not an egg that was laid on Shabbos or Yom Tov. Now we're dealing with an egg that came from a mother bird that was a treifa. You follow? We just switched cases on us. Oh, suffix treifa. It's going to be us. So we switched cases in the middle without saying anything. It was just, we're dealing with eggs. Let's throw in another halacha that has no connection to our issue. It's an egg that came from a mother that was a treifa. Treifa means that the mother was ill. There was a problem with the mother. If the mother lays an egg, so the egg comes from a treifa. It's like milk from a treifa animal, not a non-kosher animal, but an animal that's ill. The milk that comes from that animal is not kosher. How do you know that it's a treifa? It's hard to know. After you shecht it, you blow up the lungs, you find out. So unless you know that there was some sort of incident that took place, and you could see from the outside. Otherwise, it would be hard to know. So this mother bird also is a treifa, and a suffix treifa is also aser. It's a deraisa, it's aser. The Gemara says, 1 second. You're getting yourself into trouble. You're answering one question, but you're creating another problem. If so, Ema Seifa, go read further in that brisa. It says, Nisarva be'elef kula nasuris. If it gets mixed into 1,000 other eggs, they're all forbidden. If you say that the question was if it was late on Yom Tov, because it's today Yom Tov or not, so that's considered a davar sheish le'matirin. Davar sheish le'matirin means that it's something that has a way out. What's the way out? Not way out, but it has a solution. A solution is wait till this evening. So why should I rely on the laws of nullification, the laws of bittul? Just wait till tonight and it'll be fine. That's Rashi's try. Right? It's much like it's Rashi and the Ran. This is the easy shot. Yeah. Yeah, after Shabbos would be fine. So, v'chol davar sheish lematirin, afilu b'elef le'batel. If it's a davar sheish lematirin, so you don't rely on bittul. So then you you don't rely on the rules of bittul. Excuse me. You wait till this evening. Elai amrit safek treifa. But if you say that it's a question about the treifa mother, so then davar she'ein le'matirimi. It's something that doesn't have a solution. And v'tibatel beruba, it should be nullified in the majority. Why do you say it's not batel? No, when you switch the topic to resolve an issue, the original question was, why do we say sveika l'chumra if it's only a rabbinic issue of an egg that's laid on Yom Tov? So we switched the issue. We said that it's not talking about an egg that's laid on. It's talking about a suffix treifa. It's talking about that maybe the mother bird was a treifa, and this egg came from that. That when you switch that, you switched it for suffix treifa, you created a problem of the next case. Why do you say that it's not batel in 1,000? Why is it not nullified? If we would have kept the original issue that it's dealing with an egg that's laid on Yom Tov, we understand why it's not batel, because it's a davar sheish lematirin. But if you tell me that it's not an issue of a davar sheish lematirin, it's not an issue of an egg laid on Yom Tov, it's an issue of a treifa. A treifa doesn't have a matir. However long you wait, it's a treifa. You can't wait this out. So it should be batel b'rayv. Min b'mina, batel b'rayv. It's batel in other eggs. So we're looking for side answers to this. Maybe you'll say that the bay is something that's very significant, It's not batal. Well, 1 second. That's not so clear. Certain things are not batal. You can't be mevatal something that's very, very chashuv. Goes like this. An egg is not so chashuv. It's slightly chashuv. But if we say kol shadarke limnes, if you follow the opinion that says things that are slightly chashuv, anything that's sometimes counted, is not batal, then maybe you can get away with this. But if you say that it needs to be 100% chashuv, only something that's only counted by number, it's only sold by number. So then, eggs are not always sold by number. Eggs are sometimes sold by the bucket. Usually in the store, you buy them by the dozen. But it's possible that they're also sold by the bucket. Okay, at least in the openness. The Tanan, especially because they didn't have cartons that would hold them separately. Each egg. Yeah. But on the farm, they don't go out in egg cartons. Put them in. The Tanan is taught in the Mishnah. We're going to go through these two opinions here. Someone has a bundle of tilson, I think it's fenugreek, shel klaya kerem, of klaya kerem. Klaya kerem is vegetables that grew in a vineyard. Now, that's a problem. And not only is it a problem, but you actually have to burn it. You have to destroy it because it's mixed growths. So, yidlaku, you destroy, yeah. Nisarva ba'acheres. Let's say this bundle got mixed in with other bundles that are acceptable, that didn't grow in the vineyard. Ba'acheres. And other ones got mixed in with other ones. In other words, everything became a mess. You don't know where the original one is. It got mixed in. Kulan yidlaku, they're all not nullified, even if there's hundreds of them. Dibri Reb Meir, that's what Reb Meir says. But Chachamim say no. Yala bechra Masayim. Klaya kerem is batal 1 in 200. In other words, grapes or grains or vegetables that are grown in a vineyard become nullified 1 in 200. Shahayir Reb Meir Reimer, back to Reb Meir's opinion. Reb Meir held Eshedarke Limnis Mekadesh. It becomes, it calls it sanctified, but it means it becomes forbidden. Things that grow in the vineyard. Because Reb Meir says anything that's sometimes counted, Shedarke Limnis, something that's the way it's sold by number, which we're talking about this bundle of fenugreek. So that's not nullified. It makes everything like consecrated or forbidden. Chachamim say there's only 6 things that are that significant that are not nullified. Rabbi Kiva adds one more. He says a 7th one. Belohe, what are the things that are never nullified? Egoizi perach, walnuts that come from perach. Rimayni badan, pomegranates that come from badan. My computer's going to die. So I didn't plug it in this way. Oh, isn't that interesting? Very interesting. Chaviyastumas, sealed barrels. Chilpe tarden, sounds like some sort of beets. The kilche kruv, cabbage stalks. The dalasivanis and a Greek gourd. Those are the 6 things that are so significant. These are the things that are very expensive item. So, yeah, you can only get them in Whole Foods. So these are not batal. Rabbi Akiva adds up kikar shel balabayas, also homemade bread. That's also something that's not batal. Now, in this list of things you have to recognize, not all of them were trees. Some of them were vegetables. So the trees, the fruits, those would have an issue of arla. The vegetables would have an issue of kalaya kerem, of in a vineyard. The itmar Allah. And regarding this, it said two opinions. Rabbi Yochanan says that only something that's always counted, that's not batal in Reb Meir's opinion. And Reb Shimon ben Lakish kol shedakel limnishnin shanu. And Reish Lakish says anything that's sometimes counted. Yeah, it's not batal. So Hani Reb Shimon ben Lakish Reb Yochanan Mayikla Meimar. This was a long introduction to what we wanted to say. Why would an egg not be batal if it's not an issue of a davar sheish l'matirin? If it's a treifa egg, if it's an egg that was laid on Yom Tov, we understand why it's not batal. But when we try to answer, say that it's an egg that's a suffix treifa, or an egg that comes from a treifa, why would it not be batal? The only way to resolve that would be if we follow Rish Lakish's opinion in Reb Meir that says that things that are sold by number, even if they're not always sold by number, are not batal. Then we have a solution. But according to Rabbi Yochanan, that says it needs to be always sold by number, then this should be batal. We're left with the question. Amar Rav Papa. Rav Papa says, Hi Tana Delicious Ksiyasu. We're actually following a different opinion here. The Amar Kol Davar Shabaminyan Afila B'Derabanan LeBatal, that holds that anything that's counted, that's counted, even if it's rabbinic, is not batal v'koskim b'daraisa, and for sure if it's a daraisa. So it's not a machlekes Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish in what's Reb Meir's opinion, and it's not following the Chachamim over there that say that there's only 6 things, or Rabbi Akiva that says 7 things. It has nothing to do with that. There's another opinion here that says davar shebaminyan. There's like batal, nothing to do with Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish. Anything that's counted is not nullified, and this is an egg, sometimes counted, which is good enough for us, and it's not batal. The Tanan, as it was taught in the Mishnah. Now, which opinion are we going to come out with? We're going to come out with, there's a machlekes between Reb Meir and Reb Yehuda, what the machlekes is between Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua. The Tanan, as it was taught, as follows. Litra k'tziyas, a liter of k'tziyas. K'tziyas are dates, are figs that are pressed. They're pressed and then they're dried, and the way they're pressed is they're pressed into a circle, and they're pushed down like into the circle, and then they put another layer on top, and then they cut it up and they make them into like probably pizza slices, and each one is a liter. There's a litra, however much that is. Shadar salpi eagle that was pressed on top of a circle. The problem is you had a bunch of circles here that was used. You don't know which one it was. Al pi chavis, you don't know which. You could push it on top of a barrel, onto a barrel. You don't know which barrel it was. Al pi kurtis, or some other instrument. You don't know which instrument it was. So in other words, you lost the one that had the problem with it. There's one of them, Meiser wasn't taken, and now it's gone. You don't know where it is, or maybe this was a truma one or something. It's got lost. So Reb Meir says it's a machlek. The question is that in this barrel, I have layers of figs. Now I know where it is. It's on the top, and I know how many barrels I have. The question is, do I have enough here to nullify it? So Rabbi Eliezer says, I divide up the barrel into layers. And if I have enough layers throughout the barrel, that can nullify the top of the one, which I don't know which one it is. No. What we're looking for here is, I know it's not in the bottom. I know it's not there. But can I use the bottom to nullify as part, since it's in the mixture, can I use it as part of the 1 in 100 or 1 in 200 or whatever I need to nullify? Yeah, I know it's only on the top. So really I should only be able to count tops of barrels because that's my real mixture. The problem is that in practicality, it's mixed in with the whole thing. So Rabbi Eliezer says, I can count the bottoms to nullify the top. Rabbi Shua says, no, you have to have 100 tops for it to be nullified. It's truma, nullified in 100. Vimlav, if you don't have that, the bottoms are all permissible because that's not part of my doubt. It's only the tops that will be forbidden. Rabbi Yehuda says the machlekes is different. He says, Rabbi Lezer Aimer im yesham mea pumin yalo vimlav pumin asurim. Rabbi Lezer says if you have 100 tops, then it will be mutter. But if not, then it's asur. That was really Rabbi Shua's opinion according to Rabbi Meir. Where's the eagle? Yeah, am I the only one there? Oh, okay. Sorry, the computer ran out of battery. So we're holding by Rabbi Yehuda's opinion. He says that according to Rabbi Lezer, that you need to have 100 tops to nullify the forbidden one, which is the truma one. Rabbi Yeshua Rabbi Yeshua says that it's a davar shebeminion. It's counted. In other words, litra ktsiyos are things that are sold by number. That's where this came in. So darsa be'eagle, v'eni de be'eagle darsa divrei kol yalo. Okay, if it was pressed into a circle and you don't know where in the circle it was, so then everyone says that it becomes nullified. Divrei akol, I know. What do you mean divrei akol? That we just had a whole machlekes about this. Amar papa chikamer darsa be'eagle v'eni de be'eagle makam eagle darsa. Let's find a ledraima. Divrei akol yalo. So over there it's different. Over there, it's not that it's the entire top. Over there, it's just one part of the top that has my issue. So then it will be nullified much easier. Okay, so all we got, this was a long discussion just to give me one opinion that holds something that's counted is not nullified. And that would explain my egg that was not nullified, even though it was a suffix, even though it was a treifa, it's not nullified. Ravashi says, "Leilam safik yemtiv safik chol havi davar sheish lamatirin. Chol davar sheish lamatirin afilu b'derabbanan leibatel." Ravashi tells me a chiddush. You know, there's something called the davar sheish lamatirin that's never nullified. But a davar sheish lamatirin also has another halacha that if it's a doubt, we're not lenient. So Ravashi says. He said that if there's a suffix on this egg, it's usur. So why should it be usur? It's rabbinic law. It should be mutter. Ravashi says no. It's a davar sheish lamatirin. Tonight it's going to be mutter. So just like a davar sheish lamatirin, I say is not batal in 1,000 because tonight it will be mutter. Why rely on the laws of bittul? Also, when it comes to a suffix, a doubt, I say davar sheish lamatirin. Why should I rely on the laws of suffix derabanan lakula? If it's a davar sheish lamatirin, I wait till tonight and I don't do the suffix derabanan lakula. That's Rashi's chiddush. So therefore, that whole brisa could be talking about an egg that was laid on Yom Tov, and whichever opinion I go like, it's still a davar sheish lamatirin. I don't have the question of it's a rabbinic law. Why is it not? Why is sveika asura? Okay, let's leave it over here.
Thank you. Have a good Shabbos.
Thank you. Good Shabbos.